The shank glinted under the fluorescent lights of Cell Block C, its jagged edge pressed against Justin's throat before he could even scream. "Faggot," the inmate growled, his breath hot and rancid. "You think you can just prance around here like it's some goddamn pride parade?" Justin's heart hammered like a war drum. But it wasn't fear that choked him. It was the echo of his brother's voice from a decade ago. The same slur spat in the driveway of their suburban Ohio home, shattering their world forever. In that frozen instant, as the blade nicked his skin and warm blood trickled down his collar, Justin didn't beg. He locked eyes with his attacker and whispered, "Yeah, I do." The sirens wailed like banshees through the concrete corridors of Ironwood State Prison, a sprawling fortress of despair in the sun-baked California desert. Justin Hayes had been inside for 3 months, long enough to learn that survival meant blending into the gray walls, the gray uniforms, the gray souls shuffling from chow to yard to lockdown. The 28, with his lean frame, tousled brown hair, and eyes the color of storm clouds, he stuck out like a fresh tattoo in a sea of faded ink. But it wasn't his looks that painted the target on his back. It was the whispers. The ones that started after lights out on his second night, when he'd let slip to his cellmate, a lifer named Rico, that he'd once marched in San Francisco's Pride with a rainbow flag wrapped around his shoulders like a cape. Rico had nodded, no judgment in his tattooed face, and shared a story of his own. A lover left behind in East LA, kids he'd never see grow up. For a week, it felt like a fragile bridge across the abyss. Then Rico got shanked in the laundry room over a dice game gone wrong, and the whispers turned to snarls. "Pillow biter," they'd hiss during rec time. "Pretty boy gonna bend over for the guards next." Justin kept his head down, worked double shifts in the license plate shop, forging steel under the watchful eye of C.O. Ramirez, a burly vet with a mustache like a broom bristle and a zero-tolerance policy for bullshit. But bullshit found him anyway. That night in the showers, steam curling like ghosts from the scalding water, Big Tommy, 6'4" of meth-ravaged muscle and Aryan Brotherhood Inc., cornered him. Tommy's crew, the white supremacists who ran the yard like their personal fiefdom, had been eyeing Justin since intake. "Heard you're one of them queers," Tommy rumbled, his voice echoing off the tiles like thunder in a tin can. Justin's soap slipped from his fingers, suds swirling down the drain. He straightened, water cascading over his scars, the faded one from a bar fight in Seattle, the fresh one from a broken bottle in Portland. "And if I am?" he shot back, voice steady despite the quake in his knees. Tommy laughed, a bark that summoned his shadows from the stalls. They circled like wolves, towels snapping like whips. The first punch landed on Justin's jaw, exploding stars behind his eyelids. He tasted copper, swung wild, connected with a nose that crunched satisfyingly. But numbers won out. Fists rained down, ribs, gut, temple until he was on the wet floor, curling fetal, praying for the Cos boots to stomp in. They did. Eventually, batons swinging, zip ties biting into wrists. Solitary. 30 days in the hole. The hole was a 9x6 coffin of darkness, broken only by a slot for trays and a slit of light that mocked the sun. Justin marked days with scratches on the wall, each one a tally of regrets. He thought of Mom, her frail hands clutching rosaries in that Cleveland hospice, whispering forgiveness for the son who'd run away at 18 rather than face the family dinner table again. Dad, long gone to a heart attack after the mill closed, his belt marks still ghosting Justin's back. And Scott, God, Scott. The brother who'd been his shadow, his hero, until that humid July evening when Justin, lipstick smeared and high on stolen vodka, stumbled home from his first hookup. Scott had found him in the garage, fumbling with the lawnmower to hide the evidence. "What the fuck, Justin?" he'd roared, face twisting from confusion to disgust. You're a fucking queer? In my house? With Mom praying for us every night." The shove came next, hard enough to send Justin sprawling into the oil cans. "Don't you dare tell anyone. You're dead to me if you do." Scott, 22 then, Golden Boy quarterback headed for Ohio State on a full ride, had chosen the easy path. Silence, shame, exile. Justin left 2 weeks later, hitchhiking west with $20 and a backpack, chasing the American dream of reinvention in dive bars and truck stops. Solitary ended with a cough and a key turn. Back in Gen Pop, bruised but unbroken, Justin avoided the yard, stuck to the library, a musty nook of dog-eared westerns and legal tomes. That's where he met Elias, the soft-spoken black man with dreads tied back and glasses perched on a nose like a poet's. Elias was in for fraud, white-collar sins in a world that punished the poor harder than the rich. They bonded over Vonnegut, trading dog-eared copies of Slaughterhouse-Five like contraband cigarettes. Elias had a laugh like warm whiskey, eyes that crinkled with secrets. One evening, as the fluorescent buzz hummed overhead, Elias leaned close over a chessboard. "You play like a man fighting ghosts," he said softly. Justin moved his knight, capturing a pawn. "Ghosts are all I've got." Their fingers brushed electric, accidental and neither pulled away. In the prison's brutal arithmetic, touch was currency, but this felt like something stolen from the outside. Tenderness. They talked late into count, voices low. Elias shared tales of his husband, Marcus, waiting in Oakland with their rescue dog, a mutt named Blues. "He sends letters with paw prints," Elias grinned. Justin confessed fragments, the shame, the pride parades, the one-night stands that left him hollow. "Never had a real one," he admitted, cheeks burning. "Someone who sees past the label." Elias's hand covered his. "Then let me show you what real looks like." Their first kiss was in the storage closet behind the library, amid dusty boxes of outdated magazines, tasting of salt and forbidden hope. It was clumsy, urgent, teeth clacking, breaths mingling in the stale air. Justin's body ignited, hands roaming Elias's back, pulling him closer until the world narrowed to heartbeat and heat. But prison didn't allow miracles. A week later, during yard time, Tommy's crew jumped Elias near the weights. Snitch, they claimed, but Justin knew better. It was payback, a message carved in broken bones. Elias survived. Barely stitches, wheelchair, transfer to protective custody. Justin raged in his cell that night, punching the mattress until his knuckles split. He wrote a kite to the warden, anonymous, begging for intervention. It vanished like smoke. Despair settled like dust, until mail call brought the impossible. A letter, scrawled in familiar block letters. "Justin, heard you're inside. Ironwood." "What the hell, man?" "Scott. Scott." The name hit like a gut punch. Brother. Betrayer. Blood. How? Justin's hands shook as he tore the envelope. Scott had followed his trail through the system public records, a cousin's slip of the tongue. "I'm here too." Transferred last week. Block D. We need to talk. Don't make me regret this. Regret. The word twisted like a knife. Scott, the straight arrow cop from back east, now rotting in the same hell? For what? Justin crumpled the paper. Heart a riot. The brother who'd branded him with shame was yards away, separated by razor wire and regret. And in that moment, as lockdown bells tolled, Justin realized everything was about to shatter again. Visitation day dawned with the clang of gates and the stench of overcooked oatmeal wafting from the chow hall. Justin hadn't slept, his mind a carousel of what-ifs. Scott in prison, the golden boy, with his buzz cut and badge. Felled by some cosmic joke? Rumors filtered through the blocks like contraband. Scott Hayes, ex-Ohio PD, busted for corruption, shaking down dealers, pocketing evidence. A bad bet on the wrong horse. The fall from grace, splashed across Cleveland papers, now echoing in Ironwood's gossip mill. Justin lined up for the van to the visitation annex. Palms slick, stomach churning. The room was a sterile box. Plexiglass dividers, black phones coiled like snakes, guards perched on stools like vultures. He scanned the inmates shuffling in, collars popped against the chill. Then there. Scott, broader than memory, shoulders hunched under the orange jumpsuit, face etched with lines that hadn't been there at 18. His eyes, hazel like Dad's, locked on Justin's across the divide. No smile. Just a nod, heavy as chain. Justin picked up the receiver, the plastic cold against his ear. Scott, the name tasted like ash. Justin, Scott's voice was gravel, worn thin. Close, through the smudged glass, Justin saw the toll. A scar above his eyebrow, fresh stubble shadowing a jaw once chiseled for yearbook photos. Jesus, you look like shit. Likewise, Officer of the Year. Sarcasm dripped. A shield. Justin leaned in, studying the man who'd been his protector, his tormentor. What the fuck are you doing here? Scott's laugh was bitter, echoing tinny through the line. Long story. Short version. Pissed off the wrong captain. Evidence tampering, they said. Bribe gone south. He rubbed his neck, eyes flicking to the guard. 15 months. You. Armed robbery. It was a bar brawl gone lethal. A drunk homophobe swinging a cue stick. Justin defending himself with a broken bottle. Self-defense didn't stick in a system rigged for the guilty. 2 years. Silence stretched, thick as fog. Scott broke it first. I saw the news. Thought you were dead. After you left. Mom said you were in California. Some activist shit. Pride shit. You mean? Justin's voice cracked. The kind you called disgusting. Scott winced, gaze dropping to the scarred table. I was a kid, man. Scared. Dad's belt, church on Sundays, the whole macho bullshit. I didn't know how to handle it. Handle me. You mean? Heat rose in Justin's chest, old wounds festering. You shoved me into the dirt, told me I was dead to you. Then poof, family hero, badge and all. While I scraped by in alleys, sucking dick for bus fare, Scott's knuckles whitened on the phone. I was wrong. Fucked up. After you split, I drowned in it. Booze, badges, burying the guilt. Married Lisa for 2 years. Divorced when she found my stash of your old letters. Hidden like poison. He swallowed hard. Tracked you here to say it. I'm sorry. For the driveway. For everything. The words hung, fragile as tissue. Justin wanted to hurl them back, shatter the glass between them. But something in Scott's eyes, raw, stripped, held him. Sorry doesn't fix solitary. Or Elias. The name slipped out, unbidden. Who's Elias? My, Justin faltered. Boyfriend? Lover? Ghost? Guy? In here. They almost killed him because of me. Scott's brow furrowed. Because of? Yeah. Because I'm gay. Still. Always. The admission roared out, defiant, the coming out he'd rehearsed in mirrors from Ohio to Oregon. In prison, no less, with his brother as witness. The air thickened, guards oblivious, but the world narrowed to this booth, this truth. Scott didn't flinch. No slur, no shove. Just a slow nod, eyes glistening. Then fight for him. For you. I should have back then. He pressed a palm to the glass. Flat, pleading. We're brothers, Justin. Blood don't break easy. Let me help. The buzzer sounded, time up. Justin hung up, hand trembling, the imprint of Scott's palm burning through the barrier. Back in the van, jolting over desert ruts. He replayed it. No disgust, just regret. A crack in the armor. Blocks blurred into routine, but Scott's presence loomed. Notes smuggled via laundry carts. Stay low. Tommy's crew is watching. Justin burned them after reading, but the gesture warmed something frostbitten inside. In the yard, under the watchful eye of sniper towers, he spotted Scott across the basketball court, shooting hoops with a ragtag crew, his form still athletic, but movements cautious, scanning for threats. Their eyes met once, a nod exchanged like contraband. Elias returned from PC, a shadow of himself, wheelchair rolling into the library with a squeak that pierced Justin's heart. Missed you, Justin murmured, helping him to the table, fingers lingering on his arm. Missed winning, Elias quipped, but his smile was strained, eyes shadowed by painkillers. They played chess in silence at first, knights and bishops marching across the board like armies in truce. Then Elias set a pawn aside. Heard about your brother. Ironwood's small town famous. Justin shrugged, capturing a rook. Old news. New chapter. Maybe. Elias's gaze softened. You deserve that. Family. Us. He squeezed Justin's hand under the table, thumb tracing circles, a promise in the peril. That night, in the dim glow of the cell light, Justin dreamed of home. The Hayes backyard, fireflies dancing, Scott tossing a baseball his way. No shoves, no slurs, just brothers, unbroken. He woke to shouts in the hall, the metallic tang of fear. Another shanking. Not his, not yet. Scott's help came subtle. A warning about a contraband drop, steering Justin clear of Tommy's ambush in the mess hall. Gratitude warred with wariness. Could he trust the man who'd once cast him out? Letters piled up now. Scott's scrawl filling pages with fragments of lost years. Remember the treehouse? Dad built it crooked, but we called it our castle. Justin replied in kites, terse at first. Yeah. You pushed me out when the ladder broke. Then softer, still got the scar on my knee. The thaw accelerated one rainy afternoon in the gym, rain pattering on the roof like distant applause. Scott cornered him by the heavy bags, both dripping sweat from circuits. "Spar with me," Scott said, gloving up. "No ask. Just assumption. Like old times." Justin hesitated, then nodded. Fists flew, jab, hook, dodge in a dance of memory and muscle. Scott pulled punches, but Justin didn't. A right cross grazed his brother's jaw, drawing a grin. "Still got it." Squirt. "Still a dick," Justin panted, but he laughed, first real one in months. They collapsed against the wall, breath sinking. "Why now?" "Scott, really?" Scott wiped blood from his lip. "Not from the hit. Because losing you broke me worse than this place. I shamed you to save face, but it cost everything. Job, wife, soul. Seeing you here. It's my shot at redemption." Justin's throat tightened. "Redemption's a bitch in orange. Then we'll bleed for it together." Scott clapped his shoulder. Grip firm. Brotherly. No more ghosts between them, just men. Flawed and fighting. But Ironwood didn't yield easy. That evening, as Justin queued for meds, ibuprofen for his ribs, a shadow fell. Tommy, looming, breath like onions. "Heard you're cozy with the cop. Think that makes you safe. Queer." Justin's pulse spiked, but he met the glare. "Safer than you, Nazi." Tommy's fist rose, but a whistle pierced. C.O. Ramirez, baton drawn. "Back off. Haze or whichever haze." Chaos averted, but the threat lingered, a storm brewing. In his bunk that night, Elias's letter tucked under the pillow, "Hold on to him. Blood's thicker than these walls," Justin vowed. For the brother reclaimed, for the love kindled, he'd face the fire. The air in Ironwood thickened with summer spite, heat waves shimmering off the asphalt yard like fever dreams. Justin felt it in his bones, a pressure building, as if the desert itself conspired to squeeze confessions from stone. Scott's integration into his orbit brought uneasy alliances, shared smokes in blind spots, tips on navigating the Black Guerrilla family's turf wars. But whispers followed Cop's little brother, snitch by proxy. Tommy's crew escalated, graffiti blooming on Justin's cell wall, fag cop lover in red marker, scrubbed clean by dawn but seared into memory. Elias noticed the shift, his wheelchair a chariot through the library aisles. "You're glowing," he teased one afternoon, shelving a battered copy of Giovanni's Room. "Brotherly love suits you." Justin flushed, stacking periodicals. "It's complicated. Like us." He glanced around, no eyes, no ears, then knelt, pressing a kiss to Elias's knuckles. "You suit me more." Elias pulled him up, their foreheads touching in the shadowed stacks. "Then let's make it less complicated. I got word, parole board next month. If I stick the hearing." His voice trailed, hope a fragile thread. Justin's heart soared, then plummeted. Freedom for one meant fracture for the other. "You'll kill it. Marcus is waiting." He forced a grin, but envy gnawed. Elias with his life beyond walls, while Justin rotted for a crime of passion. That vulnerability leaked into their nights. After lights out, when cells became confessionals, they'd steal moments in the blind spot of the tier, Elias wheeling close, Justin leaning from his bunk. Whispers turned to touches, fingers interlaced through bars, lips brushing in stolen seconds. "I love you," Elias breathed one night, the words a balm on Justin's scars. Not despite the mess. Because of it. Love. The word anchored him, a lighthouse in the fog. But love in prison was a double-edged blade, bliss laced with peril. Tommy knew, of course. His spies were everywhere. The cook slipping extra slop, the yard bird with the limp. Retribution brewed, and Scott smelled it. "Double up on your crew," he urged during a tense game of spades in the rec room, cards slapping like warnings. Elias too. Tommy's gearing for a hit. Justin nodded, but pride swelled. "I can handle it." Hubris, born of reclaimed brotherhood. The storm broke on a Tuesday, sweltering and still. Yard time. Inmates milling like cattle, weights clanging, deals whispered under chain link. Justin and Elias sat on a bench by the fence, heads bent over a smuggled crossword, normalcy in ink. Scott patrolled the perimeter, a self-appointed sentinel, eye scanning like radar. It started with a shout, "Check the fence," diverting guards east. Then shadows detached, 3 of Tommy's wolves, circling low. Justin tensed, shoving Elias's chair toward cover. "Run, Will." "Whatever." Elias gripped his arm. "Not without you." The first assailant lunged, shank flashing, a toothbrush honed to lethality. Justin dodged, tackling him to gravel, fists pounding face until bone yielded. Elias swung his crutch like a bat, cracking ribs. But numbers turned tide. A boot to Justin's kidney, fire blooming. A knee to Elias's chest, wheeze escaping. Scott barreled in then, a freight train of fury. He disarmed one with a cop's precision wrist twist, shank skittering, then headbutt another, blood spraying like confetti. "Get off my brother," he bellowed. The roar primal, protective. Fists flew in a blur, Scott's military training against prison savagery. He took a slash to the forearm, red blooming through orange, but didn't falter. A final haymaker dropped the last man, yard falling silent save for groans and gasps. Guards swarmed, batons and cuffs, hauling bodies to the hole. Justin scrambled to Elias, cradling his head bruised, but breathing. "You okay?" Elias coughed, grinning through split lip. "Saved by the Hayes boys." Chivalrous. Scott slumped against the fence, nurse wrapping his gash. His eyes met Justin's, wild, alive. "Told you." Blood don't break. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Interrogations in stark rooms, lawyers circling like sharks. Tommy's crew implicated, but snitch code held we fell. Solitary for all, but lighter sentences, 15 days. In isolation, Justin scratched letters to the slot. To Elias, "Heal fast. Love you fiercer." To Scott, "You fought like Dad never did. Thanks, bro." Reunion came in the med ward, air sharp with antiseptic. Elias first, propped in bed, for dripping. Justin shuffled in, chains rattling. "Hero," Elias murmured, pulling him into a kiss, deep, desperate, tasting of iodine and infinity. "My knight in orange." Then Scott, bandaged arm in sling, bunked nearby. No words at first, just a bro hug, fierce and wordless, back slapped till it hurt good. "We make a hell of a tag team," Scott chuckled. "Yeah." Justin pulled back, searching his face. "But why risk your ass like that?" Scott's gaze softened. "Because you're family. And family's worth bleeding for. A beat. Even if I was a prick before," the confession cracked something open. Justin hugged him again, tears hot. Welcome home, Scott. Parole loomed for Elias. Calendar flip away. Justin dreaded it, the empty space, the half-life without his anchor. They stole every second. Hands held under tables, notes folded into hearts. When I get out, Elias vowed, I'll fight for you. Letters, lawyers, the works. Scott, sensing the fracture, stepped up. I'll help. Got connections from the job, pro bono types. His voice held no pity, just resolve. Brotherhood reborn as arsenal. But betrayal lurked in shadows. One evening, post-rec, a kite arrived anonymously, your bros playing both sides. Talking to Tommy's lawyer. Watch your back. Justin's gut twisted. Scott, the man who'd bled for him, paranoia festered, sleep evading. Confrontation came in the showers, steam cloaking like doubt. Scott soaping up, back turned. You snitching? Justin blurted, voice echoing accusation. Scott froze, suds dripping. What the note says you're cutting deals with Tommy's people. Scott turned, face thunderous. Bullshit. That's how they divide us. Plant lies. Watch us eat each other. He stepped close, water sheeting. You think I'd sell you out? After the yard. Justin wavered, fists clenched. I don't know. You did once. The slap of truth stung. Scott deflated, eyes haunted. And I'd die before I do again. He grabbed Justin's shoulders, grip iron. Believe me, or don't. But I'm all in. The kite burned that night, ashes flushed. Trust rebuilt, brick by fragile brick. Elias's hearing dawned gray, skies weeping. Justin and Scott waited in the bullpen, pacing like caged lions. Verdict, granted. 6 months early, on good behavior. Hugs through bars, promises etched in whispers. I'll be back for you, Elias swore, boarding the bus to freedom. The cell felt cavernous without him. Justin dove into routine, Scott his buoy. They talked deep into nights, dreams deferred, sins confessed. Scott admitted his own cracks, the closet he'd glimpsed in college, a fumbling kiss with a teammate, buried under beer and bravado. Not gay, he clarified, but human. Messed up like the rest. It humanized him, this golden boy with feet of clay. Justin shared too, the pride in Portland, the despair in Seattle alleys. Coming out here? To you? Scariest shit ever. Scott nodded. Proud of you, little bro. Always should have been. Climax brewed as fall crisped the air. Tommy, out of the hole, seethed for revenge. Whispers of a riot, stirred by denied appeals. Bad chow provided cover. They're coming for you, a neutral inmate warned. Both Hayes, Scott and Justin armed mentally. Shivs fashioned from pens, alibis rehearsed. The night before, in the dim tier, Scott slipped a necklace through the bars, AST. Christopher medal, Mom's old one. For luck. And family. Justin clasped it, throat tight. Love you, man. Back at ya. No awkwardness, just truth. The riot ignited at dawn. Trays hurled in chow. Shouts escalating to shoves. Blocks locked down. But chaos seeped. Fires in trash bins. Guards overwhelmed. Tommy's crew struck then, breaching C block. Justin barricaded his cell, heart pounding. Footsteps thundered boots, not slippers. The door buckled. Tommy burst in, shank raised, two shadows flanking. Payback. Faggots. Justin lunged, penknife slashing air. Chaos, grunts, blood spray, bodies tangling. A blade grazed his thigh. Hot pain. He stabbed wild, felt give flesh yielding. Tommy roared, pinning him. Your brother's next. No. Fury ignited. Justin headbutt. Stars bursting. Freed an arm, plunged the shiv home. Tommy staggered, eyes wide, collapsing in a crimson pool. Guards stormed in after, tasers crackling. Justin slumped, leg aflame, hands cuffed in red. Scott dragged in minutes later, bruised but whole. You okay? Alive. Justin grinned through haze. Tommy, down. Your work. Med bay blurred. Stitches. Questions. Elias's face in a smuggled photo on the wall. Betrayal averted. Bonds forged in fire. But the cost. Extended bid for Justin. Assault charges pending. Scott's 2 protective custody. In the quiet after. Brothers side by side in infirmary cots. They talked future. When we get out, Scott said. Ohio. Mom's grave. Start over. Justin nodded. Metal warm against skin. Together. Humanity in hell. Love reclaimed. Not lost. Winter clawed into ironwood with icy fingers, frosting the chain link and turning breaths to ghosts. Justin's wound healed to a puckered scar, a badge of survival, but the real scar was internal, the weight of what he'd done. Killing a man, even in the maw of madness, etched guilt into his nights. Dreams replayed the plunge, Tommy's eyes glazing, life ebbing like spilled ink. Elias's letters sustained him, pages thick with love, Marcus's updates, Blue's the dog's antics. Fight the appeal. I'm fundraising with the Queer Legal Fund. You're coming home to us. Home. The word tasted foreign, laced with Scott's promise. Brotherhood had evolved in the riot's forge. No more kid gloves, just raw alliance. They shared cells now, protective custody a concrete cocoon, bunked like old times in the treehouse. Scott snored softly above, a lullaby of normalcy. Mornings, they'd spar lightly, teaching each other moves. Justin's street scrappiness, Scott's cop precision. You're a natural, Scott grunted after a combo, sweat slicked and grinning. Learned from the best prick. Justin dodged a jab, laughing. Laughter came easier now, a muscle flexed back to life. But paradise in purgatory was fleeting. Hearings loomed, internal affairs grilling them on the riot, lawyers circling like vultures over roadkill. Scott's case tangled in irony, ex-cop turned inmate, defending kin against the beast. They'll throw the book, he confided one night, staring at the ceiling cracks mapping escape routes. But for you, worth it. Justin's appeal hinged on self-defense. Elias's testimony smuggled via notary, he saved my life first. The queer community rallied, petitions flooding the warden's desk. Headlines in The Advocate, Prison Pride, Brothers Against Hate. Ironwood's administration squirmed under scrutiny, bending just enough. Betrayal's ghost lingered, though. A new kite surfaced, Scott's lying. He started the deal with Tommy, you're out. Forged. Justin knew, but doubt's seed sprouted. He confronted Scott in the PC yard, frost crunching under boots. This shit again? Scott's face hardened. Plant. Ignore it. Easy for you. Justin paced, breath fogging. You're the straight shooter. I'm the fag they all hate. Scott grabbed his arm, spinning him. Stop. You're my brother. Gay, straight, doesn't define shit. You do. His voice cracked. Ice fierce. I shamed you once. Won't let lies do it again. The dam broke. Justin sagged against him, sobs racking first in years. Scott held tight. No judgment, just presence. We're hazes. We endure. Endurance tested in small ways. Holidays without fanfare. Christmas cards from Elias with rainbow stamps. New Year's. They toasted with contraband, hooch, sour, burning, hopeful. To freedom, Scott raised his cup. And family, Justin clinked, warmth spreading. Spring thawed the desert, blooming cacti like defiant flags. Elias visited first, free man in civvies, dreads loose, smile radiant. Through glass, his hand pressed to Justin's. You look good. Stronger. Miss you. Justin's voice muffled. How's outside? Chaotic. Protests. Pride planning. But empty without you. Elias leaned in. Marry me? When you're out. Tears pricked. Hell yes. Scott watched from the booth over, nodding approval. His turn next. A visit from an old partner, awkward with unspoken history. Heard you're going soft, the cop joked, but eyes held respect. Scott's appeal gained traction, reduced sentence for the riot heroism. Climax crested in June, heat mirroring inner blaze. The warden called them in tandem, joint hearing, a spectacle. Suited lawyers, flickering AV of the riot, grainy footage of Scott's charge, Justin's desperate stab. Testimonies rolled. Elias via video, voice steady. C.O. Ramirez, gruff. Hayes boys saved lives that day. Tommy's ghost loomed. His crew scattered, but resentment festered. A final betrayal. During recess, a guard slipped Justin a note, your brother's cutting a deal. Solo out. Snitched on you. Panic surged. In the holding cell, Justin cornered Scott. Tell me it's bullshit. Scott's eyes widened. What now? The guard says you're trading me for early release. Rage flashed, then sorrow. God damn them. Scott slammed the wall, knuckles splitting. Listen, I did talk to IA about the corruption case back home. Cleared my name, but it implicates others. Not you. Never you. Proof. A smuggled transcript. Scott's words damning brass. Not kin. Justin exhaled. Shame flooding. I doubt it again. We all do. Scott pulled him into a hug. Fierce. But we choose trust. Verdict dropped like thunder. Justin's self-defense upheld. Sentence cut to time served, out in 90 days. Scott's too. 6 months hence. Elation crashed. Brothers cleaved again. The remaining weeks blurred in preparation. Job leads from Elias, Queer Youth Center in Oakland. Scott's plans for Ohio rehab. Restitution. Visit me, Scott urged. We'll build that castle right this time. Out processing day. Gates yawning. Desert sun blinding. Elias waited in a beat-up Honda. Arm slung around Justin's waist. Ready? Fiancé? More than. Justin glanced back. Scott at the fence. Waving. Metal glinting. A nod exchanged, hold the fort. Freedom hit like vertigo. Traffic hum. Ocean salt. Marcus's barbecue in the backyard. Pride season roared floats. Flags. Justin marching arm in arm with Elias. Scott's letter in pocket. Proud. See you soon. But the story's arc bent toward deeper waters. Scott's release came amid scandal. His testimony toppling a corrupt ring. Media frenzy dubbing him whistleblower inmate. He landed in Cleveland. Sober house first stop. Then a PI gig, honest work. Haunted eyes. Justin flew east for mom's grave. Elias in tow. Scott met them at the airport, leaner, steadier, hug enveloping. Brought the family. Justin grinned, introducing Elias. Scott shook hands. Warm. Heard you're the one who kept him sane. Mutual. Elias smiled. Easy. Graveside. They stood trio. Brothers and beloved. Rosaries and rainbows entwined. She'd love this, Scott murmured. Dirt soft under knees. Forgiveness. Healing rippled. Justin and Elias wed in a backyard affair. Rainbow cake. Blues as ring bearer. Scott best man. Toast heartfelt. To love that endures shame. Walls. Everything. Yet humanism's shade. Not all ties mended clean. Scott's ex-wife visited once. Child in tow. A niece Justin met shyly. Awkward coffees. But seeds sown. Justin's activism bloomed. Speaking at prisons. Coming out behind bars tours. Scott joined one. Voice steady. I shamed my brother. Now I stand with him. Romance deepened for Justin. Elias's touch nightly. A home in Oakland's hills. But echoes lingered. Prison's brand. A tattoo of resilience. One autumn eve. Scott called. Thinking treehouse. Build one for the kid. Justin laughed. With rainbow flags? Damn right. Everything changed. Indeed, not erased, but redeemed. In America's fractured heart, two brothers found grace. Blood thicker than betrayal. Love the ultimate key. Years folded like accordions. Time's mercy on the mended. Justin and Elias's life in Oakland rooted deep. A Victorian fixer-upper with creaky floors and a garden where tomatoes burst red against the fog. The youth center gig evolved, Justin directing programs for at-risk queer kids, channeling his scars into shields. You turned hell into hope, Elias would say, pouring wine on their porch. City lights twinkling below like fallen stars. Scott thrived in Cleveland's rust, his PI firm sniffing out insurance frauds and missing heirs. The whistleblower halo faded, but respect stuck, cops nodding at bars, old teammates slapping backs. He dated sporadically, a barista with tattoos, a teacher with laugh lines. Nothing stuck, but he didn't chase. Content, he'd say on calls, voice gravelly warm. The niece, Emma, 8 now, gap-toothed and fierce, called him Uncle Scotty. Weekends filled with zoo trips and bedtime tales of the brave brothers in the big house. Reunions punctuated the miles, Thanksgivings in Ohio, where the old Hayes home stood sold but memories clung like ivy. They'd hike the prodigal backyard, Scott pointing ghosts. There, where you broke your arm chasing fireflies, Justin retorting, and you cried harder than me. Elias mediated with pies, his calm a bridge. But drama's undercurrent never fully ebbed. 5 years post-release, a letter arrived, anonymous, postmarked Ironwood. Tommy's ghost lives. Cruise out, hunting hazes. Paranoia prickled, old instincts flaring. Justin showed Elias, who frowned. Stirs the pot. Ignore, Scott. Looped in via Zoom. Face pixelated but fierce. No. I'll dig. His PI skills unearth threads. A parolee with Tommy's Inc. Rants on dark web forums about unfinished biz. Tension coiled. Nights Justin bolted awake. Shank dreams recurring. Climax revisited in Summer Swelter. A conference in LA, Justin's keynote on prison reform. Scott flew in. Emma in tow for Disneyland magic. Post-speech. Buzz electric. They dined at a Koreatown spot. Bulgogi sizzling. Soju flowing. You own that stage, Scott toasted. I's proud. Emma yawned. Head on Justin's lap. Uncle Jay. Tell the riot story again. He did. Sanitized, heroes, not horror. Laughter wove the tale. Then crash. Glass shattering at the window. Brick through with scrawled threat. Payback. Fags. Heart stop. Scott dove for Emma. Justin shielding Elias. Sirens wailed. LAPD swarming, irony thick. The perp, Tommy's cousin. Fresh out. Grudge nursed in shadows. Cuffed and spilling. He confessed. For family. Echoes. Trial swift. Sentencing a nod to justice. But the breach cracked facades. Scott spiraled, booze creeping. Emma's visits tense. I brought this. He confessed on a porch swing. Rain pattering. My past. Your fight. Justin gripped his shoulder. Ours. We end it together. Intervention. Rehab for Scott. Family therapy with Emma's mom. Elias mediated. His patience a superpower. Humanity's messy, he'd say. We clean as we go. Redemption's arc bent humanistic. Scott emerged clearer-eyed, sponsoring AA meetings at the old precinct. Justin's TED Talk went viral, from shame to solidarity, sparking policy shifts, early releases for nonviolence. Elias proposed expansions, prison pen pal programs, queer-lit libraries behind bars. Emma's 10th birthday sealed it. Backyard bash in Oakland, Scott grilling burgers, Justin and Elias dancing slow to Motown. Uncles forever, she declared, cake-frosted grin. Kisses stolen. Elias's lips on Justin's neck, whispering, our story's the best. Scott, watching, raised a soda. To changes forever. Epilogue whispered in quiet. Scars faded but felt. Love a tapestry woven from betrayal's threads. In America's vast, bruised soul, two brothers, and the man who bound them, proved. Coming out wasn't just once, in a cell or a driveway. It was daily, defiant, divine. Grace in the grit, romance in the ruin, humanity holding the line.